Resources Office, international student support services, things like that. What kinds of services do you need as a particular person, and does the school that you're looking at have those? And think about other particular needs that you have that might not be on this list that only you would know, and be sure to ask questions about what's available to support those needs. Okay, I'm going to take another sip and then we'll talk about the classroom. So in a United States law school classroom, the teaching style is a little bit different than it is in many other countries. So instead of just delivering information by a traditional lecture, where the professor is we have a phrase, the sage on the stage. So the professor is just imparting the information directly to the students. Students take notes and go home and read. We have a Socratic approach to the teaching of law in the United States. So there's a lot of interaction in a classroom. The professor may pick out a specific student and ask them to answer a question. On the other hand, a student can also ask the professor a question. In fact, we encourage that. We want that dialogue to happen in class. This can feel very different for law students from some countries. So think about how you might feel in that situation, and what you could do to prepare to be able to engage in the Socratic teaching method. It's really important to do all of your reading before class. There will be humongous reading assignments, lots of reading, and it's important to do it all and to do it before class so that you can ask more in-depth questions and make sure that you're understanding the material. Let's see, we talked about classroom interaction in classes with JD students. So some common challenges that international students will face, of course, are the English language, second language learning. So begin practicing your English now as much as you can. That will help you to prepare. It can also be difficult to feel so far away from your real life and your family and your friends. So think about what you might plan on doing, maybe using Skype or other technologies to stay as close and in as much contact as possible with your loved ones. There are other considerations as well. If you're bringing children to the program, you'll need to get them enrolled in school depending on their ages, and that is a process that can take a little bit of time, so that's something to be ready for international students. So be thinking about other concerns that international students have, and be sure to ask the schools that you're looking at how they will help you address those concerns. I want to mention it's important not to plan to work at the same time that you're in an LLM program, in the sense of like working enough to pay for the LLM program in full while you're going to school. You will not have enough time, and you probably won't be able to find flexible enough work unless you're doing work remotely for your home company, to be able to actually pay your bills. It will severely undermine your ability to succeed in the LLM program, and it will make it so much more difficult. So we really recommend against working while you're in an LLM program. Okay, so now that you have a sense of the kinds of questions to ask yourself and to ask the schools that you're looking at, what's the next step? Well, the next step is to actually start to research the schools specifically. So an important resource that you'll want to use is the Law School Admissions Council, the LSAC website. It's an American website. Actually, I believe a few other countries, I think, are also using it as well, but it's primarily for U.S. law schools, and it lists all of the accredited law schools in the United States with a brief profile on each and then links out to those schools' websites. So this is an excellent place to begin your research. The LSAC website is also where you will be applying to most of the law schools. At UC Davis, we also offer a couple of other application options, but the LSAC application will be the most common and probably the easiest to use, because what you can do is set up your profile, and then that same profile information can be just assigned to the different law schools that you want to apply to. There are other resources as well for researching law schools. We really like LLMguide.com. They're one of the original LLM search websites that's independent. So that's a really great resource. Of course, look at the websites of the individual schools that you're considering. Contact the admissions officers, ask them your questions, ask them follow-up questions. Keep that conversation open and really get a feel for the culture of that school. Social media profiles can be a great place to get to know universities a little bit better, and to find out what's really going on kind of a day-to-day basis in the law school, as well as the larger university. There are some LLM-focused education fairs throughout the world. These can be very useful. Attend info sessions, either in person or online, and webinars like this one. That can really help. And also participate in live online chats. Something that I should add to this slide is Education USA offices like this one and staffers like Shanza are amazing resources for helping you to chart your way through the complicated world of the LLM program. So really take advantage of Education USA offices as well as these other resources to make sure that you're getting the most rounded perspective possible on your different options, and so that your decision is the most informed that it can be. So we're now at the point in the presentation where I'm going to transition to talking a little bit about UC Davis, and then we'll move on to questions. So UC Davis, the whole campus, is part of the world-renowned University of California system. UC Davis is the largest of the 9 university campuses. We are ranked 10th in the U.S. among all public universities. And we have, at the whole campus, so this is not just the law school, but the entire campus, we have over 35,000 students. The law school has about 500 students. So that gives you a sense of how much is going to be going on campus. There's a ton of activity to participate in. It's a really friendly and fun place. The city of Davis, California is safe and friendly. It's a small town. It has about 65,000 residents. But because of the university, we have lots and lots of amenities that a small town wouldn't normally have. So you can really feel like you're plugged into culture, even though the atmosphere is a little bit quieter and really conducive to studying. The other nice thing is that UC Davis is located, I'm going to go back a slide actually. UC Davis is located very close to many important California attractions. So we are about 15 miles, 29 kilometers from the state capital. We are very close to Lake Tahoe, to Yosemite. The Lake Tahoe is about 2 hours drive. Yosemite is probably about 3.5 hours drive. We're about an hour and a half from San Francisco and the Napa Valley wine country. And we're about a 7-hour drive from LA, or like a 90-minute flight. So that gives you an idea of where Davis is located. And anytime you want a big city experience, it's easy to travel just for a night or a day even to San Francisco to get a big city fix before you come back to study. The population of Davis is very diverse and highly educated, and we have beautiful weather here. We have a Mediterranean climate. So we have warm weather during the summer, which is usually cooled off at night by the Delta breeze. And then we have mild winters. Lots of blue sky. Okay, so let's drill down to the School of Law at UC Davis. According to the U.S. News and World Report most recent ranking, we are number 30 in the United States. That's out of over 200 law schools. So we are in the top group of law schools, and we're really proud of that ranking. There's an important assessment undertaken by a faculty member at the University of Chicago, Brian Leiter, and according to that faculty assessment, we are 23rd in terms of faculty quality, so we're really excited about that. And we are number 5 in terms of faculty diversity, so that's a really wonderful feature for international students, is such a diverse faculty. So let me tell you a bit about our Academic Year LLM program. So we have a general track, which can also be customized. And again, this is generally a broader look at the U.S. legal system, tailored to your particular interests. We also offer some pre-planned areas of specialization. These play upon the sort of already structured areas of specialty within the law school curriculum. We can also create a specialization based on your own particular interest. So that's a really wonderful feature. We do offer a 2-year LLM option at UC Davis. And if any of you are interested in that, please ask me in the Q&A and I can give you a little more information. And then UC Davis School of Law also provides excellent preparation for students who want to take the bar. So in terms of the pre-planned specializations or common areas of concentration, here are some that people frequently choose at UC Davis and for which we have excellent faculty. As you can see, we have business law, criminal law and procedure, environmental and natural resources law. I see my list got a little bit messed up here. I'll have to check that later. I apologize, but anyway, business law, criminal law and procedure, environmental and natural resources law. We have healthcare law and bioethics, human rights and social justice, intellectual property, which is very popular right now, and international law and public interest law. But again, at our law school, we can also build a specialization on an area not listed there, depending on what you're interested in. So at UC Davis School of Law, we have an internationally recognized faculty. They love to share knowledge. They're passionate about research, passionate about teaching, and they want to interact with you. We have an innovative and engaged student body. Again, you'll be in class with the JD students at UC Davis, so that really brings a lot of additional perspective to the experience. It's an intimate student environment. The student-to-faculty ratio is high. You will not get lost in the crowd. You will find that you have lots of support and you'll make friends easily. Our facility was recently renovated. It's beautiful, technologically up to date. It's on the cutting edge. Lots of sunlight, beautiful green areas around it. The classrooms have, they're set up for laptops at every student's spot. Like I said, they're smart classrooms, so those media resources are an excellent advantage to have in the classroom. We have a fabulous library, the Mabee Law Library, and through it you can access the collections of all the UC campuses and more. We do offer the ability to transfer to the JD program, I should say the ability to apply to transfer to the JD program to our LLM students, and we also have scholarship opportunities. At UC Davis, like I said before, just by applying to the LLM, you automatically get considered for a fellowship. So that's a nice feature. So at UC Davis, we also offer a full-fledged career services office. We do resume and cover letter review. We do interview preparation, networking skills workshops. All kinds of resources are made available to you through the career office. We have many law school student organizations. We also have student-run journals. We provide field trips as part of the LLM curriculum to relevant legal institutions in the area, including the courts, and I believe we take LLMs possibly to a jail as well. I can't remember right now. We also do cultural field trips. So we do take our students to Lake Tahoe. We take them to Coloma, which is a small town up in the mountains where gold was first discovered back in 1848, and that's what really propelled the central region of California into becoming a more established urban area. It's still very agricultural, but at the time of the gold rush, it was only agriculture and natural industries. And that created the need for cities. And so that's why we are here today in a city. We also have a wonderful calendar of events, which you can find on our website. So UC Davis also offers another option for LLM, which is unique, which is a part-time summer LLM with a pre-planned specialization in international commercial law. So that is a program that only offers that one concentration in international commercial law, but it's a spectacular program for working professionals because you complete it in the summer. You would take 2 to 5 summers to complete the program, taking 2 to 8 weeks of class per year. And like I said, this is a great option for lawyers who are in the field of international commercial law and who cannot leave their jobs for a whole year. It also spreads out the cost of the program over a longer period of time, and that can be really helpful for people as well. There are 18 weeks total in the course of study, so that, like I said, is completed over multiple summers. And it's a fabulous program. It's very innovative. It was one of the very first part-time LLM programs in the United States. As I mentioned earlier, we offer 2 pre-LLM programs in the summer at UC Davis, the English for Legal Professionals program, which is 2 weeks, and the Orientation for USA Law, which is 4 weeks. And the Orientation in USA Law is a condensed overview of the U.S. legal system. So that creates a nice framework into which you can plug the more detailed studies that you'll be doing during the academic year LLM. I'll go back actually. We'll say that many of the UC Davis LLM students participate in these programs, but these programs are open to anybody. So even if you're going to a different law school, if you think that either of these programs would benefit you, we would love to have you with us in the summer. It's a great community. You'll meet students from around the country and around the world. It's a great time. Other schools do offer summer pre-LLM programs as well, so be sure to be on the lookout for those. And in broader student life at UC Davis, we have a lot to offer. We're proud of what our campus provides to students. We have an arts and crafts center. That's what's going on here. I believe she's painting up some pottery, I think. We have a large equestrian center. We offer intercollegiate sports. This is a photograph of the inside of the Activities and Recreation Center. This is the outside of it. We have a beautiful recreation pool that's open during the warmer months. We have lots of social events on campus. There are beautiful musical programs that happen at the Robert and Margaret Mondavi Center for the Performing Arts, musical and speaker programs and drama. So there's a lot of culture going on at UC Davis that you can enjoy when you need a break from your studying. So that brings me to the end of my presentation. I would love to hear from you all. You're welcome to contact us at the information listed below, llm@ucdavis.edu. Our website is really easy. It's law.ucdavis.edu/llm. And we'd love for you to find us on Facebook and stay in touch with us there. And so with that, let's turn now to your questions. So I'm going to come over here and look at the chat area. Okay, so I see a question from a few minutes ago from Inam Khan. Is there any type of scholarship in the University of California LLM? That's a great question. And we do offer fellowships. I'm going to pull up the exact language right now. We do offer fellowships. Like I said before, we automatically consider all applicants to the LLM program for a fellowship. We offer a limited number of fellowships to highly qualified LLM students. And students are notified about fellowship offers as part of their letter of acceptance. The amount of fellowship that's provided varies on an annual basis based on budget and other considerations, and the amount has not been set for next year, so I can't share that. But in the past, it has been a significant portion of the tuition that gets covered by the fellowship that those qualified students receive. So thank you for that great question. We also offer additional resources on our website. I'm going to paste the link to that website here in chat. Here is the link to the fellowship and financial information for UC Davis LLM. So there's that. Let's see. Can engineering students apply for this as well? Well, so here's the thing. As I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, in the United States, to get an LLM degree, you have to have a first degree in law in your home country. So if your first degree is in engineering, you would need another degree in law in order to come to the Masters of Laws program in the United States. Now, that said, some universities offer what's called a Master in Legal Studies. That is not a law degree. It is a legal studies degree. It does not qualify you to take a bar exam, but it will give you in-depth study of United States legal systems and specialized areas. So that's something else you could look for, where you would not have to have a law degree in your own company to complete that. I see a question, is there a copy of this lecture? I'm going to give that to Shanza, but I believe this is being recorded and it will be posted on YouTube. Isn't that right, Shanza?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Another question I had, that for JD programs, is there any standardized tests that students need to take?
Oh, thank you very much. That's a great question. So for the LLM program application, the LSAT is not required. Just English scores and transcripts from your first degree in law. In order to apply directly to a JD program, the LSAT, the LSAT is the admission test required for the JD program. So direct admission to the JD program. So I wanted to make sure you could hear the spelling, the LSAT. And to apply directly to a JD, you do have to pass that exam. Now, if you go to an LLM program first and then you apply for transfer to a JD program, often LSAT is waived. You don't have to take it for the transfer. That may vary by school, so that's something to check out. But I know that that's, for example, what we do at UC Davis. So great question. Thank you, Shanza.
Yep.
What other questions do the listeners have? Let's see. I'm going to scroll through here. I'm going to do these kind of in no particular order. I see that there is a question about how many international students are selected each year. So in LLM programs in the United States, most of the students will be international students. So at UC Davis, our program grew a little bit over last year. So, but our program is generally like around 75 students now, and almost all of those, or even all of them, will be international students. There are a few international JD students at UC Davis as well. We also have at UC Davis a visiting scholars program. So the total international community at the UC Davis School of Law in any given quarter or semester is probably maybe around 100 people. But then the larger UC Davis campus has many other international students as well. So at UC Davis overall, there's a very large and very diverse international community. And this will be true of most major universities in the United States. That's a great question. Let's see.
Are there any other admission requirements, like a minimum GPA or something like that?
Thank you. So those requirements will vary by school to a certain degree. We do have those requirements at UC Davis. I'm going to our admissions website now. I'm going to provide that link in the chat. And I'm going to read that information as well. So the requirements for international applicants are to present satisfactory evidence of the completion of a legal academic training at an accredited educational institution. So we don't have a specific GPA requirement for international applicants. For American applicants, there is a minimum GPA. Now, that said, of course, the higher your GPA, the more competitive your application will be. There are other components to the application as well. There is the English requirement. So there's a minimum TOEFL score of 570 required by the law school for foreign language applicants to our LLM. So that equates also to a 6.5 on the IELTS. And there are other score conversions available on the website link that I just provided in chat. Now, we do offer a way of waiving that, which is that if you've completed 1 year as a full-time student in an English-speaking country, you may be eligible for an exemption, and that country can include the United States. So there's more information about that on our website. Other schools may offer that as well. I don't know. The other elements of the application are the application form, which can be completed in LSAC. It can be completed via PDF, available on our website. We also have our own online application at our own school website if you prefer that. You'll need to submit official academic records, which are transcripts. You'll need to submit 2 letters of recommendation, the English scores, a personal statement, which includes personal, academic, and professional background, and your reasons for seeking the LLM degree, and then a resume or curriculum vitae. And all of that is listed on a checklist on the website link that I provided a couple minutes ago in chat. Great question. Let's see if I missed any other questions.
I think there's
Oh, I
another
see a
question
question.
about, yeah.
Well, I see a question from earlier about what month the scholarship is going to announce for engineering studies. I'm afraid UC Davis is a huge university. I don't know anything about the engineering studies admission calendar, so I apologize for that. Let's see. Okay, there you mentioned that there is an LLM in criminology, so criminology in only the U.S. legal system. Okay, whoa. So yes, that's correct. The curriculum at UC Davis is about American law. Now there are some comparative law courses, but generally you will be learning American law. I hope I've answered your question. If not, go ahead and type a clarification and we can go from there. Any exemption for GMAT for graduate business studies? I cannot speak to that. UC Davis is a humongous school. It's really big, and I don't know what the requirements are for the business school. You'll have to go directly to their website. I apologize for that. TOEFL or IELTS is must for applying an LLM. So that's correct. Again, you either need to provide a qualifying TOEFL or IELTS score, and once again, the TOEFL requirement is 570. The IELTS requirement is 6.5. Or, once again, if you can provide documentation of studying 1 year as a full-time student in an English-speaking country, you may be eligible for an exemption. Good question. We still have plenty of time. Are there any other questions?
So I have a quick question.
Absolutely.
So so will the school help students find internships or other part-time working opportunities?
So at UC Davis School of Law, we don't guarantee that those will be available to students. It really depends on a case-by-case basis what the student's qualifications are and what kinds of opportunities are available at any given time within our network. But we do have a complete career services office that does support the LLM students as well as the JD students. Okay, in my view, which type of field is best for LLM? Wow. So I actually don't have a law degree. My degree is in English literature and writing. I do marketing for the programs here. I'm really not in a good position to make that recommendation. I think from my personal perspective, I would say that you should choose a specialization that is relevant to the work that you're either already doing or to work that you want to be doing in the future, or both. You definitely want to be taking coursework that you're passionate about because you will work very, very hard in an LLM program. So it would be, I think, very disappointing to select a program of study that you don't really care about and then to have to do all that work. So I would say make sure it's a field that you really love and really are genuinely interested in. You would want to check out resources in your own country, probably to know if there are like hot fields where there are going to be lots of jobs in the next few years, that's not something that I can tell you because I don't know the legal job market in your country. But I think that you would be able to find that information perhaps through the bar associations in your country or through industry publications. Any other questions? I'm really happy to answer anything that you might want to know.
I have a quick question about the housing.
Sure.
So are students required to live on campus, or can they find housing off campus too?
That's a great question.
And what is almost like the average cost of living?
Oh gosh. Okay, so that I don't actually have in front of me. Let me do a little quick research. Oh, hold on one second. Okay, so on our website, I'm going to answer the second part first. So on our website, we provide information on estimated expenses. So again, this is on the website, the web page that I've already provided in chat, but I will provide it again. And that's here. So the sorry, the estimated expenses that we recommend you plan for housing, food, incidentals, personal expenses, and transportation would be approximately $1,500 to $1,800 per month. So the academic year is a 10-month year, so that would translate to about $15,000 to $18,000 for the year. That's just for Davis, California. So if you're looking at law schools that are like more in the center of the United States, probably those expenses will be less. If you're looking at UC Berkeley or UCLA, those expenses will be much higher because those areas are more expensive. So again, that was for all of your non-tuition costs. That's what we estimate, about $15,000 to $18,000 per year. To go back to the first part of the question, at UC Davis, most of the graduate students live off campus, though there is some limited campus housing. I'm glad you asked this question because I'll give you guys a tip, which is that housing in Davis is a little bit under pressure right now. There's a little bit more people and students than there is available housing at this time. So if you come to UC Davis, it's really important to get your housing lined up as soon as possible. And our admissions department will help you with all of that. We don't actually make housing arrangements, but we will provide you lots of resources to go and find the right kind of housing for you and lots of support in making sure that you connect with the right people to do that. Great question. Okay, I see a question. I see a couple questions. When we will complete our LLM or PhD, is there any opportunity for a job in the United States? Okay, so that, first of all, I can't see the future. And that really varies, I think, based on the field of law that you're trying to get the job in. And when you graduate, what the job market happens to be like when you graduate. This is an area that I'm not really an expert in, but I would encourage you to email us at llm@ucdavis.edu, and I will forward your email to our admissions group, and they have more information about that sort of thing. So sorry that I'm not the expert on that. I see a question about how could we go for education abroad? I don't really understand that question in the context of this webinar, but I think that Shanza would be an amazing resource for planning any kind of education abroad. That's her job and her office's job. So I would definitely recommend, Sidra, that you talk with Shanza about planning education abroad. Let's see. Okay, I see a question about geology. I do believe that UC Davis offers geology programs. UC Davis is a very large campus with many, many programs. I don't know anything about geology, but I think we do offer it. So I would Google UC Davis geology program and see what you can find. I see another question from Sidra. how could we come to US for studying psychology as I'm doing an MSc in psychology? Okay, so once again, I don't know anything about the psychology degrees at UC Davis. I know that we have them. One of my colleagues has a bachelor's in psychology from UC Davis. So I would Google UC Davis psychology degrees and start looking for information about international students there. Another link that will be helpful, let me find it for you, is the general UC Davis, international students. I'm going to get you some info, some general info. Thanks for your patience. Just a second. Okay, so I'm going to provide the website um, for many of the programs. So you can check that out. That's not for the law programs. That's for everything else, basically, to start finding your way for those other questions. Are there any last questions? We have just a couple of minutes left. I want to make sure. Oh, I see one here. Okay, this is another question about the economics program at UC Davis. I can't speak to the economics program. You'll need to contact that department directly. And I don't know if the engineering, I see the engineering question as well. I don't know if the engineering department does webinars like this, but they have a full admission staff as well. So you should contact the engineering department directly and they'll be able to answer your questions. This is true for economics and psychology and geology. Any program that you're interested in, if UC Davis offers it, there will be admission staff dedicated to those programs and they will be able to help answer your questions. Any other questions? So we talked a little bit earlier in the presentation. I see a question about scholarships. So UC Davis School of Law, again, considers every LLM applicant for fellowships. And in terms of the other programs at UC Davis, I can't speak to those. I don't have that information. Okay, I see Mohammed's question. So once again, the minimum score for for GRE. So good question. The GRE is not required for LLM admission in the United States. So you do not have to provide that score. An English test score is required, and the TOEFL score requirement is 570. That converts to 230 for the computer-based exam, TOEFL CBT, or 88 for the IBT exam. And we also accept IELTS, and the IELTS minimum score is 6.5. And I just answered that question. The IELTS minimum score is 6.5. And let's see. I see a couple of other questions. Nope, okay. Any other? Thanks, Muhammad. Thank you for your questions. Any other questions? We're about to wrap up here. Okay. Oh, I see one. Oh, right. Again, I don't know if there will be other programs from Davis doing these webinars or other schools. That's a question for Shansa. Shansa, will there be other webinars on other degree programs?
Yes, so we do advertise for all our webinars, and you just need to keep a lookout in your email box. So we'll send out the invitations for these, and these are usually in the evening at around 6 p.m. But yeah, basically we do advertise for all our webinars.
Excellent. All right. Okay, I see one last question about scholarship. How can we get criteria? I don't totally understand that question, but again, I'll provide the link to the information about scholarships at UC Davis for the LLM, and every school will be a little bit different. So you'll need to look at the specific details of each school. So there's that link. All right, so I think we're done for today. I'm so glad that each of you participated and you asked great questions. I really appreciate that. So again, my name is Kate Ashe, and I'm the marketing coordinator for the LLM and International Law programs at UC Davis School of Law. And it would be my true pleasure to hear from you. So contact me at llm@ucdavis.edu. So again, contact me with questions. Oops, at llm@ucdavis.edu. I would love to hear from you, and I hope that we'll receive your LLM applications this year so that we can welcome you to Davis in the future if it's the right school for you. And I wish you the best of luck as you plan your studies abroad. Thank you again, Shanza, for this wonderful opportunity and your excellent hosting skills.
Well, thank you so much, Kate, for joining us and leading the webinar. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. There will be a recording of this webinar, which will be posted on our YouTube page. So if you just go on YouTube and type in EdUSA Pakistan, you should be able to get to the page. Otherwise, I'm also going to post a link to the page.
Excellent.
And this webinar recording should be available within a day or two. And
Perfect.
if you have any questions, please reach out to Kate. You have her email, so do take advantage of that. Otherwise, if you want to schedule an appointment, then I would recommend you just email your assigned advisor. If you don't know who your advisor is, you can always email me, and I'll just type my email address down in the chat box, but it's just shanza@usefpakistan.org.
All right. Thank you, everyone, and good luck.
Thanks, Kate. Bye.
Bye-bye.